Okay, so we're in Act 2, Scene 2, which is very short. It's just an announcement, and it goes directly into Scene 3.
It is Othello's pleasure, our noble and valiant general, that upon certain tidings now arrived, importing the mere perdition of the Turkish fleet, every man put himself into triumph. Some to dance, some to make bonfires, each man to what sport and revels his addiction leads him. For besides these beneficial news, it is the celebration of his nuptials. So much was his pleasure should be proclaimed. All offices are open, and there is full liberty of feasting from the present hour of 5 till the bell of toll 11. Heaven bless this Isle of Cyprus and our noble general, Othello!
So what we have is Othello has announced that today went well. The Turk is no longer attacking. Okay, we're putting ourselves into triumph. And he says, so we have, dancing, bonfires, all this kind of stuff. And not only is it because the Turkish fleet has been destroyed, but also it's the celebration of his nuptial, which means his wedding. He's sort of publicizing the fact that he got married, and that's part of the celebration. So go out, knock yourselves out, people. We're in high spirits. Scene 3 begins with Othello speaking with Cassio at a place where there isn't a whole bunch of drinking and celebrating going on. He's talking to his lieutenant about what needs to be done.
Good Michael, look you to the guard tonight. Let's teach ourselves that honorable stop not to outsport discretion.
Iago hath direction what to do, but notwithstanding, with my personal eye, will I look to it.
Iago is most honest. Michael, good night. Tomorrow, with your earliest, let me have speech with you. Come, my dear love. The purchase made, the fruits are to ensue. That profit's yet to come between me and you. Good night.
Hopefully that's obvious enough. He says to his wife, the purchase is made. I bought the thing. The fruits are still to ensue. The fruits are still coming from my purchase. So I don't have any profit yet between me and you. So let's go and have some profit. Okay. But first, he says, good Michael, Mr. Cassio, let's make sure that we don't go too crazy tonight. Let's not outsport our discretion. And Cassio says, yeah, Iago knows that we need what we need to do. He's going to keep an eye on everything, and so will I. And Othello says, innocently, Iago is most honest. He's a good guy. And Othello and Desdemona leave, and Iago comes in to where Cassio is standing.
Welcome, Iago. We must to the watch.
Oh, not this hour, Lieutenant. 'Tis not yet 10 of the clock. Our general cast us thus early for the love of his Desdemona, who let us not therefore blame. He hath not yet made wanton the night with her. And she is sport for Jove.
She's a most exquisite lady.
And I'll warrant her. Full of game.
Indeed, she's a most fresh and delicate creature.
Oh, what an eye she has. Methinks it sounds a parley to provocation.
An inviting eye, and yet methinks right modest.
And when she speaks, is it not an alarm to love?
She is indeed perfection.
Well, happiness to their sheets. Come, Lieutenant. I have a stoup of wine, and here without her a brace of Cyprus gallants that would fain have a measure to the health of Black Othello.
Not tonight, good Iago. I have very poor and unhappy brains for drinking. I could well wish courtesy would invent some other custom of entertainment.
Okay, so what we have at this point is Cassio says, I go a little bit overboard with drinking. Okay, so I shouldn't be drinking with you guys tonight. I wish that courtesy would invent some other custom to entertain us so that I wouldn't have to drink because I'm not good at drinking. I kind of go too far. But before this happens, we get an interesting conversation between the two men. Cassio starts. He says, let's go take care of business. Let's go to the watch. And Iago says, ugh, not yet. Come on. You know, the general has given us some free time here. Let's not, look a gift horse in the mouth. Go ahead and enjoy ourselves until they start heading off to bed. Because she's pretty hot, isn't she? And Cassio says, oh, yeah, she's good looking. And Iago says, yeah, I bet she's kind of, And he says, well, she's a fresh and delicate creature. And he goes, yeah, but the way she looks at people, she's sort of tempting, isn't she? Cassio says, oh, she's a lovely girl, but I think she's modest. I don't think she's flirting. And Iago says, don't you think when she talks to you, she's kind of like saying, hey, come on over. And Cassio says, oh, she's a lovely girl. Iago says, oh, well, happiness to their sheets. I hope they have a good time. Let's go drink. I have some wine. I have some people that want to drink. Let's go drink to the happiness of the married couple. And that's when Cassio says, oh, I kind of go overboard with drinking, so maybe I shouldn't.
Oh, they are our friends, huh? But one cup. I'll drink for you.
I have drunk but one cup tonight, and that was craftily qualified too. And behold, what innovation it makes here. I am unfortunate in the infirmity and dare not task my weakness with any more.
What, man? 'Tis a night of revels. The gallants desire it.
Where are they?
Here at the door. I pray you, call them in.
I'll do it, but it dislikes me.
Okay, he says the gallants, the guys want to come and drink with you. So he says, where are they? They're at the door. Okay, all right, I'll have a drink. But he says, notice here, he says, I've already had one cup tonight, and it was pretty crafty. It was pretty harsh, on me. Look what innovation it makes here, like in my head. It's like I'm already feeling a little bit lightheaded. And Iago says, oh, come on. Cassio says, all right, but I probably shouldn't. So Iago is luring Cassio in to drink too much. That's what he's trying to do as part of his plan.
If I can fasten but one cup upon him with that which he hath drunk tonight already, he'll be as full of quarrel and offence as my young mistress' dog. Now my sick fool Rodrigo, whom love hath turned almost the wrong side out, to Desdemona hath tonight caroused potations pottle deep, and he's to watch. 3 lads of Cyprus, noble, swelling spirits that hold their honours in a wary distance, the very elements of this warlike isle, have I tonight flustered with flowing cups, and they watch too. Now amongst this flock of drunkards am I to put our Cassio in some action that may offend the isle. But here they come. If consequence do but approve my dream, my boat sails freely, both with wind and stream.
Okay, so here's his plan. He said, okay, if I can get one more cup into him with what he's already drunk, I can make Cassio drunk. Meanwhile, my sick fool Rodrigo, who's, lovesick, tonight he caroused potations pottle deep. Okay, so he's already drinking, maybe drunking. He's also supposed to be on watch. Then he says, oh, there's a few other guys, 3 guys from Cyprus who I've flustered with flowing cups. They're supposed to be on watch. So I've got Rodrigo and I've got these 3 guys on watch, and among this flock of drunkards, I'll throw Cassio, who I've just gotten to drink a little bit more, and it'll be a fight, a ruckus, and that's what I want. If everything goes well, my ship is sailing with wind and with stream. It's going with the current and with the wind. Cassio comes in. Holy cow, these people are drinking more, and they're giving me more.
Giving me a rouse already.
Good faith, a little one, not past a pint, as I am a soldier.
Some wine. Oh. Let me the cannikin clink, clink, and let me the cannikin clink, clink. A soldier's a man, a life's but a span. Why then let us all three. Wine, boys.
Oh, God, an excellent song, eh?
I learnt it in England, where indeed they are most potent in potting. Your Dane, your German, and your swag-bellied Hollander. Drink, nothing to your English.
Is your Englishman so expert in his drinking?
Why, he drinks you with facility, your Dane dead drunk. He sweats not to overthrow your Almain. He gives your Hollander a vomit ere the next pottle can be filled.
To the health of our general!
I am for it, Lieutenant, and I'll do you justice.
Oh, sweet England. King Stephen was a worthy peer. His breeches cost him but a crown. He held 'em sixpence all too dear. With that he called the tailor lown. He was a wight of high renown, and thou art but of low degree. 'Tis pride that pulls the country down. Then take thine old cloak about thee.
Some wine! Oh, God! This is a more exquisite song than the other.
Will you hear it again?
No!
Okay, so it's clear that Iago is faking his drunkenness. He's getting Montano, who's the local governor, and Cassio and these other soldiers. He's helping them drink more. He's singing these songs. They happen to be, ironically, comically, about England. Now, you recall, these people are all from Venice or Florence, or they're from Cyprus. England, well, that's where Shakespeare's from. That's the audience that Shakespeare has his play playing in front of. So the guys on stage are singing about the audience, sort of comically. Cassio says, "Oh, that's a great song." Iago says, "You want to hear it again?" No, I don't want to hear it again. Oh, holy cow. So Cassio goes on.
For I hold him to be unworthy of his place that does those things. Well, God's above all, and there be souls must be saved, and there be souls must not be saved.
It's true, good lieutenant.
For mine own part, no offence to the general, nor any man of quality, I hope to be saved.
And so do I too, lieutenant.
Aye, but by your leave, not before me. The lieutenant is to be saved before the ancient. Let's have no more of this. Let's to our affairs. God forgive us our sins.
Amen.
Gentlemen, let's look to our business. No, do not think, gentlemen, I am drunk. This is my ancient. This is my right hand. And this is my left. I am not drunk now. I can stand well enough. And I weak spell it speak well enough.
Excellent. Well.
Why, very well then. You must not think then that I am drunk.
To the platform, masters. Come, let's set the watch.
Oh, you see this fellow that has gone before? He's a soldier fit to stand by Caesar and give direction. Do but see his vice. 'Tis to his virtue a just equinox, the one as long as the other. 'Tis pity of him. I fear the trust Othello puts him in on some odd time of his infirmity will shake this island.
But is he often thus?
'Tis evermore his prologue to his sleep. He'll watch the Hodologue a double set if drink rock not his cradle.
Well, the general will put in mind of it. Perhaps he sees it not, or his good nature prizes the virtue that appears in Cassio and looks not on his evils. Is not this true?
Before we go any further, let's catch up on what's happening. Okay, so Iago is helping them all drink. specifically Cassio, and Cassio is making jokes and having fun drinking. But in the end here, he says, okay, let's get to work. Remember, we have to do guard duty tonight, even though we've been drinking. So he said, well, don't think that I'm drunk. And the way he says this, he's stumbling and mixing up words and stuff because he's drunk. When Cassio leaves, when he exits, Montano, now he's the governor of Cyprus. And so he's chatting with Iago, and Iago says this to basically the ruler of the island that they're on, that they're protecting. He says, you see that guy that just left? He's a soldier fit to stand by Caesar and give direction. He is a soldier whose position is very high, not by Caesar. This guy's position is to stand next to our leader and give direction. And do you see his vice? His vice is drinking. So he's putting this in the ear of Montano. He's saying, I'm a little anxious. I fear that trust that Othello puts in him, his infirmity, is going to shake the island. I don't know why Othello trusts him. It's kind of scary. Because although Iago doesn't have the power to overthrow or displant this Cassio, Montano, he's like the Senate of this island that they're protecting. So if he doesn't like it, maybe there's something to that. So that's what Iago is doing. He's ratcheting up the bad reputation. Montano says, perhaps it would be good if the general knew about this. Maybe he doesn't notice it. Maybe he likes Cassio too much. Maybe we should tell him. And that's when Rodrigo comes in.
How now, Rodrigo? I pray you, after the lieutenant, go! And 'tis great pity that the noble Moor should hazard such a place as his own second with one of an ingraft infirmity. It were an honest action to say so to the Moor.
Not I, for this fair island. I do love Cassio well, and would do much to cure him of this evil.
What? Help? Okay, you see what happened. When Rodrigo came in, Iago says, go to Cassio, go and find him. Like, you're supposed to be starting a fight with him. You're supposed to be making him look bad. So Rodrigo runs out to do that. Montano and Iago, they continue their conversation, the suspicions about Cassio, and then, conveniently, at that point, a ruckus has started.
But hark, what noise?
You rogue, you rascal!
What's the matter, Lieutenant?
A knave teach me my duty? I'll beat the knave into a twig and bottle!
Beat me?
Dost thou prate, rogue?
Oh, nay, good Lieutenant. I pray you, sir, hold your hand.
Let me go, sir, or I'll knock you over the mazzard!
Come, you're drunk.
Drunk!
Yeah.
Rodrigo, away, I say! Go out and cry a mutiny.
Nay, good Lieutenant. God's will, gentlemen. Help! Oh! Lieutenant, sir! Montano, sir, help! Masters! Oh, here's a goodly watch indeed. Who's that which rings the bell? Diavolo! The town will rife! God's will, Lieutenant, hold, you'll be shamed forever.
What is the matter here?
Sims, I bleed still. I'm hurt to the death. He dies!
Hold for your life!
Hold, Lieutenant, sir! Montano, gentlemen! Have you forgot all sense of place and duty? Hold! The General speaks to you. Hold! For shame!
Okay, so the fight broke out just like Iago wanted. Cassio and Rodrigo come in fighting. Cassio says, you're telling me what to do? Because, Rodrigo probably went out and said, you're drunk, you shouldn't be doing this, or you should be doing it that way. So he sort of assaults Cassio, and Cassio takes to him and starts chasing him and fighting with him. He hits Rodrigo right here in front of Montano, the guy who has just been told Yeah, Cassio gets a little out of hand when he's drunk. And so Montano says, "Oh, you're drunk." Cassio says, "What? You son of..." And he starts attacking Montano. That is exactly what Iago is looking for. This Cassio is going to be in huge trouble for attacking the governor of the island. Attacking a soldier, that's what attacking a Venetian, that's when, if you attack the commander of Cyprus, oh, so he says to Rodrigo, "Go out and cry mutiny. Go out and get people to come. This is great." So Rodrigo runs out to go and find people, and Iago sort of says, "Wait, you guys need to stop. You can't do that." If you ever see it produced on stage, he's not trying to get them to stop, okay? He wants them to be fighting when the important people get there. So he says this, and then he says, "Oh, wait, who's ringing the bell? You're going to be ashamed forever if some important people come. Wait, you can't do that." This all sort of mocking fakiness. And in walks Othello, says, "What the heck is going on here? What the heck's going on here?"
Aye. How now? How? From whence ariseth this? Are we turned Turks, and to ourselves do that which heaven hath forbid the Ottomites? For Christian shame, put by this barbarous brawl. He that stirs next to carve for his own rage holds his soul light. He dies upon his motion. Silence that dreadful bell. It frights the eye from her propriety. What is the matter, masters? Honest Iago, that looks dead with grieving, speak. Who began this? On thy love I charge thee.
I do not know. Friends all, but now, even now, in quarter and in terms like bride and groom, divesting them for bed. And then, but now, as if some planet had unwitted men, swords out and tilting one at other's breast in opposition bloody. I cannot speak any beginning to this peevish odds, and would in action glorious I had lost those legs that brought me to a part of it.
How comes it, Michael, you are thus forgot?
I pray you pardon me. I cannot speak.
Worthy Montano, you were wont to be civil. The gravity and stillness of your youth the world has noted, and your name is great in mouths of wisest censure. What's the matter that you unlace your reputation thus and spend your rich opinion for the name of a night brawler? Give me answer to it.
Worthy Othello, I'm hurt to danger. Your officer Iago can inform you while I spare speech, which something now offends me, of all that I do know, nor know I aught by me that's said or done amiss this night. Unless self-charity be sometimes a vice, and to defend ourselves it be a sin when violence assails us. No.
Okay, so back up a step. Othello says, "What's going on here? Whence ariseth this? Where did this come from? What started this? Okay. Have we turned into Turks so that we attack ourselves? Once we get the Turks away from us, we start killing ourselves like the Turks would? Everyone stop moving. The next person that makes a move dies." Okay. He's really angry, really threatening. "Stop that freaking bell." And then, honest Iago. This is like the third time we've heard him say honest Iago in the play. Every time he says that, hopefully you, along with the rest of the audience, go, "Ah, jeez." So he says, "Honest Iago, what the heck is going on here?" And Iago says, "Oh, I just don't understand it. This is just so horrible. They seemed like friends, like they were a bride and groom. They were just buddies until suddenly they come in and they're like, their swords are out and they're fighting one another. It's like, I can't even speak. I don't know what's going on. I can't understand what's the beginning of this and why, they lost all their glory by acting like this. Oh, I wish I had never been brought into this fight. Oh, this is just embarrassing." Yeah, good acting, Iago. You're just overcome by how amazingly incredible. And the cool thing for Iago is this. Who's fighting now? It's Cassio and Montano. Okay? Rodrigo isn't even in it. So Rodrigo is thinking, yeah, this is cool. I kind of got it started, but I'm out of it. I don't look bad. And Iago is thinking, yeah, good, my guy is still kind of safe on the outside. Montano and Cassio, they're the ones who are fighting. This is great. Cassio's going to look like an idiot. And so Othello says, Montano, you were civil. What's your deal? What's the matter? What's going on here? Give me an answer. And Montano says, Montano's been injured. And he says, oh, I'm almost too weak to speak. I only, you can blame me for fighting only as far as self-charity goes. I was defending myself. If that's a sin, then I'm sinful. I was just defending myself. And Othello goes on, oh, my blood is beginning to boil. It's overriding my safer guides. I'm really ticked off if I don't figure out what's going on here. Let's hear him talk about it.
Oh, by heaven, my blood begins my safer guides to rule, and passion, having my best judgment colored, essays to lead the way. If I once stir or do but lift this arm, the best of you shall sink in my rebuke. Give me to know how this foul rout began, who set it on, and he that is approved in this offense, though he had twinned with me both at a birth, shall lose me. What? In a town of war? Get wild, the people's hearts brimful of fear? To manage private and domestic quarrel in night and on the court and guard of safety? 'Tis monstrous! Iago, who began?
If partially affined or leagued in office, thou dost deliver more or less than truth, thou art no soldier.
Touch me not so near. I had rather have this tongue cut from my mouth than it should do offence to Michael Cassio. Yet, I persuade myself to speak the truth shall nothing wrong him. This it is, General Montano and myself being in speech, there comes a fellow crying out for help, and Cassio following him with determined sword to execute upon him. Sir, this gentleman steps into Cassio and entreats his pause. Myself the crying fellow did pursue, lest by his clamour, as it so fell out, the town might fall in fright. He, swift of foot, outran my purpose, and I returned then rather for that I heard the clink and fall of swords, and Cassio high in oath, which till tonight I ne'er might say before. When I came back, for this was brief, I found them close together at blow and thrust, even as again they were when you yourself did part them. More of this matter cannot I report, but men are men. The best sometimes forget, though Cassio did some little wrong to him, as men in rage strike those that wish them best. Yet surely Cassio, I believe, received from him that fled some strange indignity which patience could not pass.
Okay, so this is a pretty complex story. Let's follow it through. Othello says, okay, I'm going to start swinging if somebody doesn't tell me the truth. Tell me how it started. Even if we were twins, you're going to lose me if you're the one that started this. Now, that's kind of a good, solid threat. So anyone who did start it is going to be his enemy. Iago hears that and it's like, okay, so I pin this solidly on Cassio, and Othello is not going to, he's going to hate the guy. Othello says, Iago, who began it? Of course, because Iago is honest. Listen to what Montano says. He says, if you, Iago, are going to say that your officer was a better guy, if you're going to be loyal to him, you're no soldier. You're not honest. If you're going to give some slanted story just to save your Cassio, you better think twice. And Iago has this great response. He says, I would never offend Cassio. I'd rather cut my tongue out than offend Cassio. I am super loyal to Cassio. Why does he say that? Because if he is super loyal, then it would take a lot for him to go against Cassio. So it really must be the truth. He says, I just can't lie, even though I want to be Cassio's backer. I just can't say it. General, this is the way it happened. I was talking with Montano. We were standing here and some guy comes through scared and Cassio is chasing him. And it's like, what the heck? The guy ran off and right here, this is where Montano stopped Cassio. He said, what the heck's going on? What are you doing? Are you going to kill somebody? The guy ran off. I went after him. Remember, that was Rodrigo. And while that was happening, Cassio attacked Montano because, of course, Montano stopped him. Okay, so it's like this guy fights that guy, someone else steps in, and now there's a new fight, and off run both of the perpetrators, Iago and Rodrigo. And when they come back, oh, holy cow, Cassio has injured Montano. This is great. Couldn't have wanted it any better. Not what he tells his boss, of course, but he explains all of that. That's what happened. And I don't know any more than that, but come on, boys will be boys. It's fighting. I'm sure Cassio just said some little thing and started up a fight with this one guy. And then the other guy stepped in. Oh, jeez. Don't hold it against these people. Come on, Othello. And Othello says, I know. Your honesty and love is divided in this. You are trying to minimize what happened here. But this Cassio has clearly crossed the line. Let's hear him explain it.
I know, Iago, thy honesty and love doth mince this matter, making it light to Cassio. Cassio, I love thee, but never more be officer of mine. Look, if my gentle love be not raised up, I'll make thee an example.
What's the matter?
All's well now, sweeting. Come away to bed. Mm-hmm. Sir, for your hurts, myself will be your surgeon. Lead him off.
Now, just a little thing here. Okay, Desdemona comes in, and this is weirdness. Okay, why is this woman on the battle trip? It's like, what's she doing here? Poor judgment on Othello's part. The one place that his judgment is weak is regarding his wife. So here, as he's making a big decision, she comes out and says, what's wrong? What's going on here? And he says, look, you woke my wife up. What? You woke up my wife with your fighting? It's like, we want to trust Othello's judgment, and he's a very good soldier. But when it comes to little personal relations things, he is incredibly inexperienced. This is not the kind of thing he's good at. So, you woke my wife up. And he says, what's wrong? And he goes, oh, don't worry, we figured it all out. Let's go to bed. Montano, you go to my surgeon. Somebody go help him out. And they walk off, and he says, okay, Iago, let's just take over. Figure this out, would you?
Iago, look with care about the town and silence those whom this vile brawl distracted. Come, Desdemona, 'tis the soldier's life to have their balmy slumbers wake with strife.
Okay, and then they leave. Now, remember, he mentioned earlier, don't worry, having my wife around won't distract me from my job. And a person might argue that he made a quick decision here based on her coming out. We don't really know. I mean, a person could argue either way on that. But the fact that she's there is strange. It is odd. So, Iago, you're in charge. Just go and take care of things, would you? And they all leave. And there's Iago standing with Cassio, who's just been fired. I don't know if you noticed that. I probably didn't point that out properly. He said, Cassio, because of what you did, never more be officer of mine. He got fired. And so now, after he goes off with his wife, Iago is standing here with the former lieutenant who just got fired. Let's hear how this goes.
What? Are you hurt, Lieutenant?
Oh, I passed all surgery.
Oh, Mary, God forbid.
Reputation. 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 I have lost my reputation. I have lost the immortal part of myself, and what remains is bestial. My reputation, Iago. My reputation.
As I am an honest man, I thought you'd received some bodily wound. But there's more sense in that than in reputation. Reputation is an idle and most false imposition, oft got without merit and lost without deserving. You have lost no reputation at all, unless you repute yourself such a loser. What, man? There are ways to recover the general again. You are but now cast in his mood, a punishment more in policy than in malice, even so as one would beat his offenceless dog to a frightened imperious lion. Sue to him again, and he's yours.
I will rather sue to be despised than to deceive so good a commander with so slight, so drunken and so indiscreet an officer. Drunk! And speak, parrot, and squabble, swagger, swear, and discourse fustian with one's own shadow. Oh, thou invisible spirit of wine, if thou hast no name to be known by, let us call thee devil. What?
Okay, so why is Cassio so upset? Of course, because he just got fired. But the way he explains it is, it's his reputation that he's lost. I've lost my reputation. That's horrible. Iago says, oh, I thought you got hurt. Reputation? What the heck good is that? You can recover your reputation to the general. You just gotta just sweet talk him. He was angry. Sue to him or plead to him. Yeah, he'll be fine. He'll bring you back again. And Cassio, interestingly, says, I would never want to deceive the general with such a drunken officer. So Othello is this great general. I wouldn't want to deceive him by giving him such a drunken officer as me. So I kind of deserve it. Wine, you're the problem. Let me call you devil. Ugh. And Iago says, well, who was that guy that was chasing you with the sword?
What was he that you followed with your sword? What had he done to you?
I know not.
It's possible.
I remember a mass of things, but nothing distinctly. A quarrel, but nothing wherefore. Oh, God. That men should put an enemy in their mouths to steal away their brains. That we should, with joy, pleasance, revel, and applause, transform ourselves into beasts.
Why, but you are now well enough. How came you thus recovered?
It hath pleased the devil drunkenness to give place to the devil wrath. One unperfectness shows me another to make me frankly despise myself.
Come, you are too severe a moraler. As the time, the place, and the condition of this country stands, I could heartily wish this had not so befallen. But since it is as it is, mend it for your own good.
I will ask him for my place again. He shall tell me I am a drunkard. No. Had I as many mouths as Hydra, such an answer would stop them all. To be now a sensible man, by and by a fool, and presently a beast. How strange. Every inordinate cup is unblessed, and the ingredient is a devil.
I hate drinking. It's so horrible. For a person to be sensible now, and then after a couple of drinks, you act like an idiot, and then you turn into a monster. So he's horribly angry at himself for being so drunk that he did these stupid things. Iago says, well, you seem pretty sober now. Yeah, that's just the way drunkenness is. You can't depend on it, right? So he's complaining more and more. He's belittling himself. And Iago, now, if you recall, Iago actually had two steps to his plan. One is to destroy Cassio's reputation, to get him in trouble. And he's accomplished that. But remember, he also wanted to get back at Othello. In part because he figured Othello has slept with his wife. So he's got that other part of his plan. I'm going to take Cassio, who's this good-looking guy, and create jealousy in Othello. That's what he's working on now. Listen to how he says to get his position back from his boss. How can you, Cassio, get into the good graces of Othello again? I have an idea. Let me tell you how.
Come, good wine is a good familiar creature if it be well used. Exclaim no more against it. And, good Lieutenant, I think you think I love you.
I've well approved it, sir. I drunk.
You or any man living may be drunk at some time, man. I'll tell you what you shall do. Our general's wife is now the general. I may say so in this respect, for that he hath devoted and given up himself to the contemplation, mark, and denotement of her parts and graces. Confess yourself freely to her. Importune her help to put you in your place again. She is of so free, so kind, so apt, so blessed a disposition. She holds it a vice in her goodness not to do more than she has requested. This broken joint between you and her husband, entreat her to splinter. And my fortunes against any lay worth naming, this crack of your love shall grow stronger than it was before.
You advise me well.
I protest in the sincerity of love and honest kindness.
I think it freely. And betimes, in the morning, will I beseech the virtuous Desdemona to undertake for me. I'm desperate of my fortunes if they check me here.
You are in the right. Good night, Lieutenant. I must to the watch.
Good night. Honest Iago.
Dang it, these people keep calling him Honest Iago. Ugh. Well, I mean, that's part of the play, isn't it? But, so Iago says, okay, I'll tell you what you need to do. You need to talk to his wife. Confess yourself freely to her. She is, he says here, our general's wife is now the general. Okay, our general, who's in charge of everybody, has a wife who's now in charge of him. That's what our general's wife is, the general. And so you get her to, she's such a good woman, you get her to be on your side. And when she talks to her husband, she'll splinter means to splint, not splinter like break, but splint like a broken arm. She'll splint the fortune that you have with her husband. She'll heal it up. And Iago says, or Cassio says, this sounds like good advice. And Iago says, oh, I give it to you in the sincerity of love and honest kindness. And I'm lying, but you'll never know that because I'm so dang good at it. And then Cassio says, yep, that sounds good. Tomorrow morning, I'll go and do that. Iago says, yep, that's the thing to do. Cassio again says, Honest Iago. Ugh. But at this point, we get another soliloquy from Iago. Now, something about a soliloquy. Remember, when you're soliloquizing in front of an audience, you're thinking out loud. There's nobody else there. You're not trying to deceive anyone. What you think is absolutely true for you. This is your true intentions. And that's always good to know. Whenever Iago is completely alone, that's when he talks about playing one person off the other. Whenever anyone else is in the room, he's always trying to deceive someone. You never really can tell what he's saying is true. Let's hear what he says in soliloquy.
And what's he then that says I play the villain? When this advice is free, I give, and honest, probable to thinking, and indeed, the cause to win the more again. For 'tis most easy the inclining Desdemona to subdue in any honest suit. She's framed as fruitful as the free elements, and then for her to win the more,
wert to renounce his baptism, all seals and symbols of redeemed sin, his soul is so enfettered to her love that she may make, unmake, do what she list, even as her appetite shall play the god with his weak function. How am I then a villain to counsel Cassio to this parallel course directly to his good? Divinity of hell. When devils will the blackest sins put on, they do suggest at first with heavenly shows, as I do now. For whiles this honest fool plies Desdemona to repair his fortunes, and she for him pleads strongly to the more, I'll pour this pestilence into his ear, that she repeals him for her body's lust. And by how much she strives to do him good, she shall undo her credit with the more. So will I turn her virtue into pitch, and out of her own goodness make the net that shall enmesh them all.
Here's the plan. I mean, it's a restating of the same plan. But he says, Othello will do anything she wants. You know, my advice is good. It's like if you want Othello to do something, you talk to his wife. He'll do whatever she says. So, come on. This is good advice. Not my fault that when hell looks good, or when hell wants to do some horrible thing, to do its blackest sins, it looks like divinity. Just like me. Okay? It's not my fault that the worst ideas look like the best ideas, that the worst sin looks like the best saintliness. It's just the way life is. So I had to act like I'm thinking of his best interests in order to destroy him completely. So while he goes and talks to the wife, I'll go and talk to the husband and say, hey, check this out. She doesn't really want him, like, to have his position back. She just wants him around because she's after his body, or he's after her body, right? So the more that she strives to do good for Cassio, the more it will look like she just wants his body to Othello. I'll make sure of it. I will get Othello to see her suspiciously. This is great. I'm good. Her virtue, her desire to help, is going to turn into pitch. It's going to become the nastiness that sticks everything together and screws everyone up. This is so perfect. And then Rodrigo walks in.
How now, Rodrigo?
I do follow here, in the chase, not like a hound that hunts, but one that fills up the cry. My money is almost spent. I have been tonight exceedingly well cudgelled, and I think the issue will be I shall have so much experience for my pains, and so, with no money at all, and a little more wit, return again to Venice.
How poor are they that have not patience? What wound did ever heal but by degrees? Thou know'st we work by wit and not by witchcraft, and wit depends on dilatory time. Dost not go well? Cassio hath beaten thee, and thou, by that small hurt, hast cashiered Cassio. Though other things grow fair against the sun, yet fruits that blossom first will first be ripe. Content thyself a while. By the master's morning, pleasure and action make the hours seem short. Retire thee, go where thou art billeted. Away, I say. Thou shalt no more hereafter. Nay, get thee gone.
Rodrigo says, I've spent all my money. I've gotten beat up. It's like I am just going to go home with more experience and no real profit. And Iago says, don't you get it? You just got to be patient. You see what happened here? It's patience depends on dilatory time. Dilatory, that's where the word delay comes from. The delay is part of what patience requires. Okay, it's going to take time for this to work out. Look at what happened. Cassio beat you up, and that little bit of beating up cashiered Cassio. It completely destroyed him. He's lost his position. Just relax for a little bit. Okay, so we have to work on this. We'll just go to bed. We'll take care of it later. I think you're doing fine. Don't worry about it. Okay? And then after Rodrigo reluctantly goes away, because he's just a pawn, he doesn't know all the moving parts, then Iago, once again, in soliloquy, now again, he's telling the truth. He says this.
Two things are to be done. My wife must move for Cassio to her mistress. I'll set her on. Myself the while to draw the Moor apart and bring him jump when he may Cassio find soliciting his wife. Aye, that's the way. Dull not device by coldness and delay.
Okay, two things we need. One, my wife, Emilia, needs to get these two together, Cassio and her mistress, that's Desdemona. Meanwhile, I will bring Othello in just at the right moment when he can see Cassio soliciting his wife, pleading with her to help him, when it looks like he's asking for something from her. Who knows what he's asking for? That's what I need to do. Okay? Got to go talk to my wife. I got to go set up Othello. And that's the end of Act 2.